Welcome to the Dope Dad Podcast. This is an unscripted journey for those who are invested in parenting. There's no judgment, there's no BS, just honest conversation about what it really means to be a dad today. It's raw, it's real, and it's unapologetically dope. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. This is the Dope Dad Podcast. I'm your host, OJ. I brought a homeboy back.
What's up?
This is dope. My homeboy Keifer, if you guys been watching, you know he's already joined me before. You're the first person to return.
Hey, I got the invite back.
Yeah, right. Dog.
I didn't fuck the first one up, so
the
that's
chemistry
good.
was off the hook,
yeah,
bro.
Let's
and
go.
I felt like we barely scratched the surface, right? We got to open up. We started to talk about family. We started to talk about a couple different things, but we never really dove into, I guess, like what it was like becoming a parent, what it was like with your sobriety journey, what it was like getting out of the hospitality industry. I mean, did we just sit here and talk for 45 minutes to an hour? My boy Bill was back here from Podworks. Yeah.
Chopping it up.
Yeah, man. Welcome back to the show, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me again,
Hell
man.
Yeah. One thing I want to, I guess, like dive straight into, if you're cool with it, is you were telling me that Coop, your oldest, was experiencing some stuff at school or outside of school with a homeboy who had some opinions and stuff like that. We never really like circled back to find out like what evolved from that.
Yeah.
So if you're down to share it, man, like I'd love to hear the story.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's cool because this podcast is like sort of permeated outward already, right?
Okay.
Like, you know,
I love it.
It was one of those things where we were kind of circling back and you had given me a call to book this episode, and it was just like in the midst of, I think I had just put Coop to bed and I had walked downstairs to call you back and was just like, I need to fucking talk to somebody about this, man. So thank you for
Bro,
giving me an ear at that point. But so essentially what ended up happening, man, and you know, I had an interesting go with religion. I was raised in a Christian home. I went to church growing up, sitting in the pews with my grandma and like all of that stuff, man. And I slowly gravitated away from the church. Like as I had matured and gotten older, I had attended a private Christian university that I wrestled at, GCU. And have you ever heard the saying, like I was never treated worse by anybody than the person that was putting the most in the offering plate on Sundays or something to that nature? And that I kind of had read that like a few weeks ago, and it just kind of hit home, man. Like I have a weird disposition with some of that. And so parenting wise, like we had never really gone into defining our home's approach to spirituality and religion and all of that. And Cooper had gotten introduced to that at school.
So through somebody outside of the household. Was Taylor religious? Was she raised religious, excuse me?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, because she holds very similar views to myself, but I don't think that was like a getting out of the church kind of situation like mine. I think it was more of like I wasn't really raised in an environment like that, so I've never gravitated towards it kind of thing, more so than myself, like taking an analysis of like the environment that I'd been
subjected to.
Yeah, essentially. And so the situation at school was actually, it's not funny, but where this ended up coming up was the anniversary, or it was Taylor's mom's birthday, and she's no longer with us. And so we were at the park playing, and Taylor's sister was over, and I don't know what he said, but Cooper said something along the lines of like something very Christian rooted in terms of like addressing where Granny was. And my Taylor and Michaela, her sister, had like kind of looked at each other like, where the fuck did that just come from kind of situation. So that was our first not inkling, but it makes sense now looking back that like this had started. And Cooper had just kind of gotten some like fire and brimstone talk from a kid at school. They had gotten into an argument. Like my son listens to the music that we listen to, man. So like he was talking about MGK or something at school, and like there's some Christian artist, Forrest Frank, I guess, that this kid likes to listen to, that he was like, oh, he's better than MGK. If you're not listening to this, like you're probably, going to hell kind of situation. And then it cascades into this like, God is the King of Kings. This is the only way. We need to be fishers of men.
How old are these kids?
6.
6 years old.
6 years old. And so this is coming at my son, and he's got a grandparent that's not here. Like Taylor and I both have had friends pass since Cooper's been born. And like none of us attend church. And so I think Cooper's world started to flip and implode because what he's being told by his friend that like he's good friends with and like trusts obviously, and like they've got this relationship is we're all going to hell. We're not going to heaven. Like he had a really tough time working through this. And so my hand was cast into having to unwire a little bit of that and just being like, look, dude, I don't ever want to tell you how this works. I want you to be able to explore a relationship with the world around you. I'm going to tell you a couple of different ways that people view it. I'll kind of explain to you what your friend is talking about. I'll tell you my view on it, and I can give you a couple different examples of the way that people view the universe and the way they think all of this works. But what I will tell you right now is that the people that you love that are not here anymore are not in hell because they didn't attend church or whatever you're being told right now. That's just not my belief system. So I don't necessarily believe there's some dude up in the sky calling the shots or anything like that. I think at the end of the day, if you're conducting yourself as a good human and all of that, whatever happens when the lights turn off, that's whatever happens. And anybody that's telling you,
nobody fucking knows.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
They don't know. We can all have belief systems and faith, and like I encourage that, man. Like I know a lot of really good Christian people that like that is what they're rooted in. It keeps them grounded, it gives them purpose, and like that's the driving force like with their success. We see athletes and actors all the time. So I don't have any issues with that whatsoever. But it was more of the I guess it's like having to address that from like a reactive than proactive standpoint with him. That was like really tough. And like seeing your 6-year-old like bawling, because he was telling us, he's like, I've been trying to tell him to stop. I don't want to talk about this stuff. That's really not what we do at my house. And so conversation after you and I had gotten off the phone the next day, I was like, listen, man, shut that down. Tell him you're not comfortable talking about that. Like we should be playing and jumping off of stuff and like, you know, talking about farts and flicking fucking boogers at our friends. Dude. And like, I don't want to talk about that stuff. It's confusing me. And like, he set the boundary and like shut it down. And like, it's dissipated since. And like, dude, it's the end of the school year too. So it's like, just go have fun. Just go enjoy like the last couple weeks of being a first grader. Like, why?
Man, yeah, that's fucking heavy.
Dude.
That's heavy, bro. I remember talking
man.
to you about that when you hit me up, dude. I'm like, damn, bro, that like 6?
Yeah.
6?
Caught me off guard.
Also, dude, my first response as a 6-year-old would have been like, yo, my dad could beat up your dad. that's like the ultimate fucking like mic drop, right? When you were a kid, bro, like my dad could beat up your dad.
Dude, that's why I keep the training regimen that I do, bro. Man. I gotta stay superhero status, man.
Yeah, you just roll up on him and be like, yo, bro, I didn't want to do this, but my kid said that I am gonna do this, so like shit's gotta go.
You can curl up in a ball and just take it, or I can just whoop the shit out of you now.
He's watching, bro. Yeah, dude. How interesting.
Mm-hmm.
How very interesting that that's even a subject for kids that young. I think it's interesting how some households work where there's exposure to religion and a real deep dive like, yo, this is how we live and these are our beliefs and this is what we do and this is what other people don't do, versus people who find a relationship with their God at whatever age, like independently.
Yeah.
I feel like one might hit different than the other. You know what I mean? Like I don't have like, I don't have anything to back that. You know, I wasn't raised religious, but I definitely have like my own belief system. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's strong now because it was self-sought. Like I looked for a relationship with something that I believe in, you know? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, man. Like I watch kids who are exposed to religion at a really young age and like I watch a lot of them reject it. You know, it's like I see them being force fed it.
Yeah.
You know, and you can get them to buy in when they're really, really young. But I think as they get older and they start to have their own like thoughts and ideas and stuff like that, it becomes confusing. It's like it's pretty conflicting. You know?
Yeah, and I grew up in a town that had a really heavy like Mormon population too, and grew up with a lot of those kids, man. And I would say like 75% of the people that I grew up with that were raised in the Mormon church aren't involved with it anymore. Yeah. Even to the point where like I had a friend of mine from Joseph City that she's like been very outspoken about like her problems with the Mormon church and all of that. Like she was on like NBC.
Damn.
Getting interviewed and all kinds of shit. She had like a podcast she was doing, like detailing like her experience in the church and all of that. So it's crazy, man. It's an interesting subject. And like, not trying to be polarizing or anything, but it's just not ever been like my approach to life at all.
And you know, it's even like a harder swallow, I think, than any of this, bro. Like somebody else telling your kid how the world works, or somebody else telling your kid what to do and what to believe. Like that's really, dude, at any age, that's really fucking tough, right? And typically you don't get exposure to that until it's, 10, 11, 12, something like that, right? And it's just like, whether it's about sex or whether it's about drugs or alcohol or whatever, right? Like you've got a combative teacher who's like trying to tell your kid this part of history, whatever the case may be, right? Like, It's tough, man. Like I watch my kids struggle tremendously with anybody who's in a authority position that isn't my wife and I, bro. And I'm a little fucking demon, bro. Like I'll do nothing you tell me. I'll do almost anything you ask.
Yeah.
Don't try to fucking boss me around, man. Like I don't do well with that. I don't know why. I've just always been very resistant to people kind of asserting their dominance on me. Like not my thing, man. And I see that in my kids too. And I'm like, oh, that's tough, man. And there's sometimes too where I'm like, yo, you should do what these people are asking you to do, right?
Sure.
But I can't control their delivery too. If their delivery sucks, I kind of got to back my kids' play and be like, well, your delivery sucked. Like I wouldn't fucking want to do it either. There's been a couple times where I go to like parent teacher conferences and my kids, typically they get praised, but there's been a couple times where the teacher's just like, I'm a little concerned, she's talking a little bit too much in class. I'm like, yeah, she's 12. Like, I'm not concerned. Move on.
Next.
Like not really interested in entertaining that shit. I'm like, yo, how can I be a better support for the education when I'm at home? But as far as like the little things that you find like slightly annoying or tedious, or like you're telling me a teen girl likes to talk in school. She seems preoccupied with boys. Like yes. Okay. Carry on.
Yeah. So she's socially adapting and she's progressing well. Yeah.
Fuck.
Great.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember having like profound, like, not wanting to interact with teachers in a positive way because I have an authority issue too, but I just remember being like, especially when I got to college, and I think this is why I didn't end up like ever getting a degree, but I was just like, you want to like extort this power position that you've never had before, and I can feel it.
Yeah.
And I don't fuck with that, and I'm not doing this goofy thing that you want me to do just because like you're in a position now because you've like traversed the education system to get to this status position now where you feel like you can talk down to me and tell me what to do. Like, fuck that, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I really struggle with that. I see it all the time, man. Like the kids' teachers are getting younger and younger each year.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, like it's not even a stab at teachers at all, bro. Like I feel awful for teachers, and especially in Arizona, bro. I'm pretty sure we just jumped to number 1 as far as like the worst paying state for teachers.
Oh, great.
Which is just fucking horrific.
Yeah.
But neither here nor there. Authority in general, I struggle with it, man. Yeah. You and your wife are on the same page with this whole conversation that happened revolving religion and other kiddos and stuff like that. Did the parents ever get involved or anything like that?
No, we were able to sidestep that because pretty much we gave it like 48-hour burn period where it's like, we're going to give you,
I like that.
give you the fucking tools to like, give you essentially the tools that I feel like you need to set the boundary up with little homie, let him know that's not anything you're wanting to talk about. You don't want to be discussing that. And like the other thing I told him is like, whatever your relationship is with God or a higher power or anything like that, at the end of the day, it's no one's fucking business at all. And I asked him too, I'm like, well, do you believe in God? And he goes, yeah. I was like, good. Do you talk to him? I'm like, yeah. What do you talk to him about? I ask him for stuff. I'm like, man, this isn't a thing where like you want a toy.
That fool's name's Santa
so you
Claus.
start,
Yeah. The bearded dude?
Yeah.
That's Santa. Yeah.
So there was some humor to be found in that too, man. Just
Yeah.
kind of like picking at it a little bit with him and just, you know, I just try to be as open as I can, give him the floor, give him the ability to think through this stuff. And like, I just never thought at 6 I would be asking my son, how do you think the fucking world works, man?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
What do you believe about our creator?
What?
You know, dude, so when I talked to you that night, my oldest daughter and my wife were like in close proximity. They
Sure.
were like giggling and goofing off and looking at nails and shit, you know? and so I was like having this like deep conversation with you. It was like, I don't know, I felt like the conversation kept getting better and better for me because I was so excited, dude. Like, let me rephrase this. I was so happy for you that your little man was so comfortable sharing his emotions with you, that he was willing to talk to you about what was going on emotionally and mentally, that he seeked guidance from you, that he was in touch enough with his like own emotions and boundaries to say, hey, I don't like the way this is making me feel. Dude, your response to like giving him a platform to talk and be a support for him and not just say that's fucking bullshit or like, yeah, that's right. But let him like explore his own kind of emotions. Bro, that's really, really, really fucking dope parenting, bro.
Thanks,
like
man.
hats off to you, bro, because a lot of people don't give their children, I think, the time to kind of like sort through and catalog their own emotions and come up with an outcome or whatever their solution is. But dude, 6 years old and knows what he is and isn't comfortable with and is comfortable sharing that, bro, that's a fucking win.
Yeah, it was cool, man. And I told him, I was like, if that's something you want to explore, like we can go to church and you can experience that and you can see that and start making decisions on, you know, what you believe. And it's scary too, man, because he is 6 at the end of the day and he's subjectable. So it's like, how much of that do I need to like keep the reins in on and be like, no.
I mean, oftentimes,
You know
dude,
what I mean?
yeah, oftentimes it's a conversation and they're just like, squirrel.
That was
You know
pretty
what I
much
mean?
what it was.
And so, yeah, that shit goes down. Like, my kids went to church a couple times. My wife was raised like hardcore Mexican Catholic, bro. Like hard fucking core, you know? And so she was like, hey, it's important that the kids go to church. I'm like, all right, I'll run it. Like, if it's important to you, like, let's run it.
Yeah.
And the kids were kind of disenchanted. They like the little like arts and crafts and shit like that, you know what I mean? But the environment just wasn't really for them. And then my wife, I think, as she got a little bit more like independent and away from her family a little bit more, she kind of started drawing her own conclusions as to like how things worked and stuff too. And slowly but surely, like it just became less a part of her life. And, you know, I know she definitely has like her own relationship with her God and stuff like that. But it's a crazy subject, bro. It's a real fucking touchy subject. You start talking about religion or politics or fucking sports or whatever, like, bro, there might be a fist fight at the end of that conversation.
Dude, people get up in arms about it, man. It's caused more wars than anything else on the planet.
Facts. Yeah. Believe what I believe or I will fucking kill you.
Yeah, we'll just fucking wipe you off the face of the
what a
earth.
strange concept, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another thing too, dude. Like when you start not blending, but like you merge your family with another family over a friendship, right? And you guys are going on camping trips or this, that, and now you're like mingling with other dads that you've never fucking met and you might not have anything in common with, right? But you got to kind of like be there as a support for the shorties. So you're like, hey, I'm here and I am nothing like you guys. And you were like 20 years my superior and just heard me bumping MGK when I pulled up in the parking lot, didn't you?
Yeah, the whole family was screaming it out the windows too.
For sure. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, and then dating.
Yeah.
Dating some whole other shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
Man.
Trying to mix values and ideologies and all of that. It's even just what you were touching on with like having to interact with other dads sometimes, man. That's a nerve-wracking thing.
Oh, it's awful, bro.
It's
awful,
rough, dude.
It's so like disingenuine. Like I'm down with an organic conversation. If I just meet some dude, I'm just like, yo, what's up, man? Which one's yours? You know, like if I'm standing at the park or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, the little one eating dirt. You know, fuck yeah, proud dad, bro. Yeah, spit out the rocks.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like the school would do some random shit to try to create like an environment, a culture where they're like fostering like, you know, togetherness, which I is cool. But the way they went about it, it's like dads and donuts, and I'm like, bro, I'm busy as fuck. I got so much shit to do. Like, I can't stop and eat donuts with random dudes I don't know. Like, if I got 20 minutes to talk to my wife and drink a cup of coffee with her,
that's what I'm going to do.
Fuck all these dads, bro.
Yeah, I'm not
like,
speed dating a bunch of dads in fucking preschool, man.
Like, I'm not looking for another buddy, bro. Like, my schedule is crazy. I'm like, what the fuck is already this time? Like, we already spent too much time talking about it. I don't know. It's weird how they try to get the dads to partner up or the moms to partner up. So the kids are like, oh, this is my friend. Do you know how many times, like, I've become a friend with somebody and the kids, like, end up not liking each other at all? And so I'm like, fuck. And he's just like, how are the kids? And like,
talking shit about yours.
Not really interested in talking about it, bro, because that's exactly what it is, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know. It gets weird.
I know, dude. And it's one of those things, too, where it's like, I've got a bunch of weird hobbies. Yeah. I'm sober. I'm covered in tattoos neck to knuckle. So there's always that weird, like, I don't know, man. And it's one of those things that, like, we came from the hospitality industry too, man. So like we view the world through such a different lens, and we've been exposed to so many different walks of life, and so many of the people that you come across in that industry are just, they're intense. Mm-hmm. And so when you kind of start getting into these rings of parenting and schools and all of that, it's almost like dipping your toe into like the thing that attracted me to the hospitality industry in the first place, where it's like, I'm not like all of you, and I'm not content with like suburbia, and I want to run ultra marathons, and I want to fucking have a crazy fitness routine, and I want to do all of this shit. And it's just like, I don't level with you because I can see the way that you carry yourself, the way that you talk to your kids, the way you address your wife. Like, we aren't on the same fucking page, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. People see like a bunch of tattoos and shit. They're like, "Yo, let's go grab a beer. Let's get fucked up and barbecue." You're like, bro, I'm not into any of that shit. Like, don't mistake my ability to socially interact with all you guys on like a moment's notice that I'm seeking companionship, right? Because we're chameleons, bro. Mm-hmm. Throw me in the pot. I'll blend in. I'll find 100%. A way, right? That's what we do.
Yeah, but hospitable.
Yeah. Dude, how fucking trippy too. So obviously, like, through everything that happened with the shorty and your little man crying and saying, I don't like the way this is making me feel. I bet you saw a different side of your wife, huh? That like protective, like mother bear fucking like, bro.
Dude, there was a moment, because this is the other caveat to this thing. Little homie that was preaching lives across the street.
Close proximity, yeah.
So it was one of those situations where it was like, I'm going to fucking text her. I'm going to tell her to come outside and talk to me right now. And I was like,
swerve. Don't do it.
And that's not my normal nature. Usually I'm the one freaking the fuck out. And it's just like, Mama Bear comes out, man. And it's like, I'm not going to tell you can't do that. But like, let's not blow this up. Let's see if they can handle it. I don't even know if they're aware this is going on.
Yeah.
If they can sort it out and Coop can just handle this himself, I think that's a win for all of us.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. There's also something like super attractive when you see your wife go into like full boss bitch mode, and you're just like, ooh, somebody about to pay today. She about to fuck some shit up. Right?
Yep.
I just like sit in the back with a nice tea. I'm just like, I'm her hype man. I'm like, I'm just watching.
Go get her.
Let me know. Say the word. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, dude.
Yep.
So we touched a little bit about the kiddo, but I definitely wanted to circle back to sobriety, man. So I know you're on a journey. I know you've been on a journey.
Yeah.
I want to talk about like what's that like in the household? Is your wife sober?
She pretty much will drink on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
When her sisters are over.
Yeah.
And we finish up cooking dinner, and they'll like have a couple glasses of wine. Or if we go out to like a nice dinner or something like that, or I mean, very, very rare occasion where we're out and about. But yeah, she's almost like taken on a little bit of not like a full sobriety journey, but like, I mean, the wives, man, like they're pregnant. That cancels out 10 months of consuming anything at a time, and then postpartum and breastfeeding and all of that. So it almost like forced her hand into it before I even got sober, to like kind of have to dry up and go through all of that. But she's got, I think, being in the industry like we both were, like, you develop abusive tendencies, but I don't know if she had like an addiction like I did, because she's been able to put it down, and she can have a couple. And, dude, I fucking know.
People like that, man, fucking drink responsibly and shit, bro.
Oh, man.
What fucks up with that?
I don't understand it, man, because like
one and done?
Yeah.
What the fuck's that even mean?
It's just, I think the best way I've been able to describe it with like where my substance abuse, you know, my drinking and all of that, man, is like I don't half-ass anything. And so if I'm
winner chicken dinner, bro.
If I'm going out, I'm shutting the fucking bar down. Like I'm out drinking my buddies. Like that was kind of the situation. Like I'm competitive, man. Like I'm fucking. It just is what it is, and like that translated into that, and it kind of is what it is. But yeah, it's been a journey, man, and it's been a cool one too because so much of the entirety of my sobriety journey has been through the lens of being a parent also. So Coop was 6 months old when I got sober.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of gone on this journey in tandem with like watching him grow up.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like he'll never really be able to wrap his head around that, but like there is a special bond with him because he was so much of the catalyst.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool. You're like, yo, dude, like my inspiration is right here next to me at all times.
Yeah, in my arms at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really fucking cool, man. Have you ever been around your wife with her drunk?
Yeah.
And you sober?
Yeah.
Is that hard for you?
No.
No.
No. It took, how do I word this? I came across this quote the other day that it took me longer to get 2 days sober than it did to get 2,000 days sober. And so...
That's the fucking truth, yeah.
Because, dude, I had so many failed attempts, too. Like, there was... So my date of sobriety is Christmas and Christmas Day. And I had tried so many times before that, dude, where it's like you have that one night, you wake up, I'm never fucking drinking again. And... I tried a couple of times. I had tried through October. Mm-hmm. And
of the year that you went sober?
Mm-hmm, yeah, like a couple months prior. And I think it was Halloween. Finally, something came up and we went out. And then Thanksgiving was tough to get through. Like I couldn't hold it together through that. And then finally it was like, I think I told you, like Christmas Eve, we went out and we went fucking hard, man. And I woke up that next morning and like could not enjoy Christmas.
When you say we, was your wife part of the we?
No.
That makes it tough too.
She sat at home on Christmas Eve and waited for my drunk ass to get back home at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Dog, we're lucky they tolerate our shit, bro.
Dude, beyond blessed. Beyond blessed.
Yeah. I'm not going to try to one up that shit, but I've got a couple similar stories that just really fucking are embarrassing, bro.
It's like you've got every reason in the world to not be here at this point. Like, and I've given you thousands of them.
Yeah.
Honestly. And so there's so much to that sobriety journey that's like it was a lot of me and it was a lot of my support system around me, honestly, man. And like Tay and her support through all of that and like all of the crazy shit that I've done to like addiction transfer or whatever you want to call it.
That's
like,
exactly what it is, bro.
Yeah.
Like I've jumped from thing to thing, like grasping to anything that will consume my time and my endless fucking thirst for something new.
Yep.
Right? So it's fitness or guns or fucking whatever, bro. Like, plus my sugar intake when I put down the bottle, bro, was like insane.
Dude.
Yeah.
So that it's funny you mentioned that because that was kind of what kicked off a lot of it. I ended up getting sober in December and I'd been gaining a bunch of weight, man, because I'd just been drinking hard, dude. And it was like turning into this thing where it was like getting to the bars, you know, getting cut from work. It was 1 o'clock. If I could get back to Tally Ho at 1:30, I could, you know, rip like 4 shots, have like 3 beers, and then mosey the rest of my way home and just call it, you know? And so it turned into this race, and I was gaining a bunch of weight. And it's funny, too, because I actually checked the dates on this a little while back, and I know he's not everybody's favorite person, but David Goggins had gone on Rogan's podcast in like mid-November when Can't Hurt Me came out. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I finished up that podcast, I was working at Bitter and Twisted at the time. And that commute from Scottsdale to downtown was like 45 minutes to an hour some days, depending on what my end time was. And so I was consuming a bunch of podcasts, bunch of books, and I listened to Can't Hurt Me. And that was kind of the catalyst behind like the mindset portion of everything that I kind of adopted that helped me work through those beginning stages of getting sober, man. Like that understanding of like looking at myself in the mirror and absolutely despising the fucking person that was looking back at me, especially that morning on Christmas. I'll never forget this, man. Like, I woke up, we had a downstairs bathroom, and I walked down into there and I had my hands on the counter. I just looked at myself and I was like, you motherfucker.
That's the way she looked at you, huh?
Yeah.
Fuck. Like the biggest disappointment and shit, bro. Ugh.
Yep.
Being a disappointment to the people that are counting on you, bro, just, especially as a dude. Like, I don't know what, there's like the fucking pride, right?
Just sucks it out of you, man.
Oh, bro. And you know they deserve better, you know what I mean? Like, you fucking know it, especially the kiddo, bro, like 6 months old. Doesn't even know what the fuck the toys are, but it's the principal, bro.
Yep.
Ugh. Yeah.
And it's like, he doesn't remember that dude, but.
Thankfully. Thank God, bro.
Yep.
So when you were on a quest for sobriety, bro, like what was it that what were you looking for? What were you trying to change? Like what was on the other side of whatever it was you were trying to get away from?
That's a really good question. Self-destruction. I think I'd grown to dislike myself so much that I'm too stubborn to take my own life. But if I could maneuver myself drunkenly into a situation where, like, I didn't wake up the next day, I was okay with that.
So just repeatedly putting yourself in harm's way to cheat death or whatever the other outcome is.
Yeah. And just having to find a way to have a good relationship with myself again. And I had come to terms with the fact that if I couldn't take care of myself, I wasn't going to be able to take care of my family. And so I knew something had to give. And Christmas morning, finally, the light bulb kind of clicked. And there's this emotional lightning rod phase that you kind of go through when you first quit drinking. And it's like you just lash out and like it just feels so chaotic. And so I had a background in wrestling. I'd wrestled my entire life and wrestled in college. And so I knew I needed to find a way to like keep myself accountable and find a little bit of discipline because I'd lost it. And so I turned to jiu-jitsu. And I'd done jiu-jitsu in the past. Like I wrestled in college. I did a little bit of MMA afterwards and I tinkered around in jiu-jitsu afterwards. So that was kind of what I dove into at first, of just like I needed somewhere to put energy because I felt like I couldn't sleep because I was so used to drinking myself to sleep. I had all this pent up energy and all this emotion because I wasn't used to feeling anything. And all this shit was just coming up. And I was like looking back on like the past couple of years. And it was like, it got really hard too, because it was like the peak of my success as a bartender, man. I was like some of the most miserable points of my life. And so it just felt like there was this avatar that I was having to, you know, prop up and keep going in all of this and continue to produce, you know, cocktails that were at a certain level in the bar scene, because like that was like the name that I had made for myself was like being one of the best at doing that in the city. And there's all these awards and all the shit that I had done in that. And so it was kind of coming to terms with like that person was going to have to go away for this next person to step in and drive what's gone on for the past, you know, 6-7 years now.
Was that 2019 when you went sober?
2018.
2018.
Yep.
Good for you, Doug.
Yep.
Isn't it crazy that the person that everybody like grew to love is the person that you grew to hate? Right?
Yeah, man.
Like there was like this inner resentment. It's interesting. Like I think part of my scariest part of finding sobriety was like not knowing who the fuck you are without it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I didn't know who I was without alcohol. And so the person that you became that everybody loved and shit, you take alcohol out of the equation, like what's left?
Yeah.
Right?
Where
Like
am I now?
what an interesting concept, right? Like, well, what's left?
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is like all the best parts of you and the most amazing human being, father, husband, performer, and just individual in general. But like, damn, it's crazy. Like we fucked ourselves up so bad that we think that without alcohol, we've capped out. Like I'm not limitless, I'm limited.
Yeah. And it kind of ties back into it too, man. Like you kind of go through this journey and you start like pulling back and looking back. And I think so much of my substance abuse was like suppressive, because I don't know if you've felt like this, but growing up, man, I felt isolated and alone and just different from everybody else, man. And it was like growing up in a small town, like the only thing I wanted to focus on was like getting out of there. Like I knew I could not stay in Winslow past being 18. Like I knew it would just swallow me, and like that would be the end of, you know, opportunity and things like that for me. And it was like hard having relationships that were like close and deep with people growing up in that town, because it was like I at some point am going to have to cut ties because I need to get out of here. And upon getting sober, there was a lot of those feelings came back, man. It was like I'm in the bar industry, and everybody I'm working with is kind of doing this like weird tiptoe shuffle around it, where it's like, is this going to stick? Like, what are you doing?
He's not one of us anymore.
You're making us a little uncomfortable because like you're addressing something that we all kind of battle at the same time, but don't want to fucking talk about. And so there was just this weird moment of like just feeling like an outcast again, that I kind of had to like sift through and sort out. And it's like the one thing I wish I'd have done when I had gotten sober was gone to therapy, for sure, man, because there's just so much stuff that comes up, and you're looking back and you're trying to sort through a lot of emotion and just trauma and all that shit that you kind of suppress. And so what I ended up doing, man, was I just like reforged myself like through like endurance and running and fitness and jiu-jitsu and all of that again, man. So I don't know. It's tough because I have people come to me and they're like, how do I do what you did? And I'm like, I don't know.
That's interesting. So I've got a really dear friend of mine, quite a bit older. Dude, Army Ranger, fucking badass.
Yeah.
God, he's such a fucking great dude, man. Husband, father, and he's struggling, bro. He's like, he's trying to figure it out. And he's like, how do you do it, man? Like, what are the first steps? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to give you like some fucking false answer or like mislead you or give you a bunch of crazy promises that I can't fulfill. You know what I mean? Like, it's very independent. Like, you have to fucking want it. That, like, for me, I wanted it more than I wanted anything else.
Yeah.
Like, my wife will fucking kill me when she hears this, but I wanted it more than I wanted her or my kids or anything. Like, it was self-preservation, bro.
Yep.
I was like, yo, if I don't do this for me, then I will never unlock my full potential. And thank God I did, because now she reaps the benefits of the man that I've become. But if you don't turn into a selfish fucking prick and fight for your life against yourself, I don't know if you can be victorious. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, that's what it was, man. I had tried and tried. Oh, I'm going to quit drinking for her. Oh, I'm going to be the man you want me to be. Oh, I'm going to quit drinking for the kids, you know? Like, oh, the kids.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to quit drinking for everybody. You know, my mom and dad are going to be so proud of me. Like, fuck all that shit, bro. Like, you got to go full selfish, man, and say, yo, dude, like, I know who I can be inside.
Yeah.
And I'm not living up to that potential. And it's time I make good on my commitment to becoming this fucking dude. And the only way I can do it is if I break all these fucking chains, which means like I turn my back on almost everybody, bro. I cut almost everybody out of my fucking life because I didn't know how to do it with them still in it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know how to fucking do it. I didn't know how to be a friend or a confidant or an employee or any of that shit without a bunch of booze, you know? And so I went dark mode, bro.
Yep.
And it's funny how you talk about like, yo, I didn't have like, you know, the discipline, because my discipline, you know, I had lost it. The fuck you did, bro. Your discipline was getting to the bar before it closed, having a certain amount of drinks before you fucking got to the crib, right? Like making sure you woke up early enough to have a drink or two while you were shaving or getting ready for work. Like, that's arguably some of the most disciplined I was ever been. Like, I had to be like a fucking ninja, like a stealthy motherfucker who would like plan my shit out. I'm like, yo, dude, she's still asleep. I could probably have like 2 beers. I'll sink those motherfuckers before she wakes up. Eventually she'll wake up and she'll catch me with a beer in my hand. And if she's like ashamed, you know, and she's like, are you drinking already?
I'm just throwing that away.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm throwing it away from the night before. Yeah, dude, like, so I don't know, man. Like, I was definitely like strategically catering to my alcohol abuse,
dude, man, even looking at like crazy how sneaky one can be, especially working in the hospitality industry, where it's like I used to do the craziest shit so I could drink at work.
Yeah,
the craziest shit so that I could drink at work, so I could consume while I was behind the bar, man. Yeah. And it's like all of that energy going into that, and it's like as soon as you flip that sobriety switch. Like for me now, man, it's almost like Taylor has to like reel me back in, because it's like we were saying, man, like I'm competitive, and it's like one of those things where it's like I've kind of been able to tap back into it. Like I was the same way when I was young, but it's like when I'm locked in, like I'm a fucking killer, man. And it's endurance is a tough sport specifically because like running ultra marathons, man, and like doing 100-mile races, it's like the Ironman widow. Like there was a point last summer where like my week would be wake up, run for like at least an hour to an hour and a half every morning.
In the summer and shit?
In the summer, yeah. Going out to South Mountain, just bagging trails. And then like on the weekends, because I had a race coming up in Pine, Saturday morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, packing my Jeep up, driving up to Pine, and I would be out like on the Mogollon Rim for like 3.5, 4 hours every Saturday, drive home, destroyed, like wrecked from like running out there in the mountains. And it was like to a point where Taylor was like, yo.
Need you here.
Need you here.
Yeah.
Can't, she's like, I understand you want to do these. And she's like, you're pushing yourself to the point, like you don't have to win these every time.
Yeah.
And she's like, I understand you want to push yourself and test yourself and like see what that threshold is, but it's to a point where it's like it's affecting us. And so she had to kind of reel me back in on that one. And then of course my stubborn ass. So that was in September of last year. And I actually took my first DNF at that one. Like I had some medical issues at about mile 55. So I dropped from that one and I got home licking my wounds, just fucking down in the dumps, like taking that L, man, like having to learn how to lose again and not having the alcohol crutch. So like I was kind of,
oh yeah, no shit, huh? Because you normally you could drink that away.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sorting through that and just kind of like down in this like wallowy ass thing. And I had Cocodona on the books. Cocodona just happened this past week. It's a 250-mile race that goes from Black Canyon City to Flagstaff. And so I was convinced.
250-mile foot race.
Yeah.
How long does that take somebody?
The guy that won it this year, I want to say, finished in like 58, 59 hours. It's crazy. But that's like elite.
Hold on, bro. That's 2.5 days. Non-stop running.
Non-stop running. I think he slept for like a total of 35, 40 minutes.
Is that the one where you're just like shitting while you're running?
Pretty much, dude. Yeah. Like,
Jesus.
There's aid stations and everything. You can kind of take care of that. That's like strategic, but like you're taking dirt naps, sleeping on the side of the trail, all of that. And so we finish up Mogollon. That goes sideways. So I'm like, how the fuck am I going to do 250? If like this just went sideways, I'd done a 100-miler earlier in the year and finished that one, but it was just like, fuck, man. And so I went straight back into a training block. And I'm like, I'm going to double down and fucking get this out of my system. And so I went and did Fat Ox 12-hour in November and won that motherfucker. And just like, it was just like one of those things where it was like, man, I gotta bounce back. And then kind of watching that training block unfold and like something really, really interesting happened at that race, man. So it's on a 1.2 mile track. And these fixed time races are really interesting because essentially you're standing at the start line, you're going to run in this circle. They say, go, you've got 12 hours. How many times can you run in this loop? So it's a really interesting format. And I remember being on that last lap and like checking the tracker and I was like, holy fuck, no one can catch me. Like I won. And I remember crossing the finish line and all of a sudden it was just like this fucking hollow feeling. And I just kind of had to take a second and like pack all my stuff up and get the Jeep loaded up and deal. Like that hurt more than my 100-miler, that 12-hour race. I think I did like 63 miles over the course of the 12 hours. And I was just hurting and I was just like, because dude, I've won wrestling tournaments, like I've won jiu-jitsu tournaments and I've been on podiums and everything like that throughout my athletic career, and it's felt good. And it was something I kind of had to address with myself, like, man, I've sacrificed a lot to get to this, to run in this circle and just pull off this W, and like, for what? Because I didn't feel like I was being a good partner or a dad throughout those training blocks. And there was a certain portion that wasn't there for the first 100-miler, where it was like my mom and dad were there, they were crewing me, the kids were watching me, Coop was at all the aid stations, like got to see me finish, ran across the finish line with me, and it was this like cool family event because it was this test of like, can I run 100 miles? It was the same thing with the 50-miler that I did. Like everybody was there waiting, and it was this cool thing of like, can I do this? And then it like, as soon as it was, I know I can do this, it's like, how hard can I push it now? And it became detrimental to the rest of the family for a couple points in time there. And it was just like, okay, we need to reassess the relationship with this now.
The infatuation.
It's addiction, man.
It is, man. It's interesting too, because we don't see it as a negative, right? Like I'm not out there hurting myself. I'm not hurting anyone else. This is something I find passion in. I can dive into it. It's good for me, healthy wise, right? Like you're giving back to your body. You're eating healthier, and you're mindful of your sleep and those things like leading up to it. But I got somebody that I work with that's a workaholic. One of the hardest workers I've ever met. And he's married, and he's never home, ever, fucking ever. Like he's always at work, always the first one there, always the last one to leave. And I love and respect the fuck out of this guy, but I'm like, dude, how much do you love work? Because you're going to sacrifice your marriage. Ultimately, it's going to cost you your wife. And do you love your work more than your wife, bro? Because once you build this empire and you've got all these accolades and all of these things, and you're so fucking proud of everything that you've done, you're going to realize that you don't have anybody to share it with. There's nobody there to say, I'm so proud of you, I knew you could do it. They're going to say, you got what you wanted, I hope it was worth it. And that's like a fucking tough epiphany to come to, right? Like I think there's huge necessity for me to have time to myself to do the things that are important to me. You don't have to be important to anybody else. I'm okay with that. But there's shit that I like to do. And honestly, like when I'm solo, when I'm independent, when I'm in the zone, it gives me an opportunity to like, that's how I re-energize. That's how I like recenter myself and find my balance. It gives me an opportunity to kind of like put my thoughts together and get ready to kind of like recycle and be the best version of myself. But I need that alone time, bro. Like I have to do shit on my own. And sometimes I'm sure that's tough for my wife and kids because they're like, hey, you want us to come? And I'm like, nope. No, I don't.
Even stuff that's like as simple as like running to the grocery store sometimes where it's like, yo, I'm going on my own. Like I've got certain music I want to listen to. Maybe it's a podcast I'm going to throw on. Like there's definitely some times of isolation that are needed. And I think it had just gotten like, dude, there was like some weeks that it was like 14 to 16 hours worth of like running that I was doing on top of working full time. And like, the recovery portion of that's like a whole thing too. So I've had to rewire my relationship with all of that for sure.
Something for me that works, bro. Like it's going to sound maybe like very elementary, but like let that shit go, man. Like give yourself a win. Give yourself a win for the small victories too. You know what I mean? Like not everything has to be this monumental thing. Dude, I got times where like I'll wake up and I'm like, fuck, I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I'm gonna get to the gym. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And ultimately like all that gets sidebarred because I have to do other things or I have other responsibilities or I'm like, yo, if I get out of work at this time, then I can go meet up and do this and do this and do this. And I don't get to any of it. And so there's a part of me where I'm like, fuck, dude, like I feel like a failure. I didn't get my shit wired together. I didn't prioritize the things that were important to me. But ultimately, like, I catch dinner with the fam. You know what I mean? Or like, I get to pet the dogs, or like, my wife and I actually get to see the tail end of the sunset and enjoy like a little bit of daylight in the front yard. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, yo, these are actually like, these are even better victories than I thought I was gonna have. You know what I mean? Man. And so I don't know, man. Like for me, I let that shit go, man. I give myself a win. I'm like, yo, dude, like the things that I had planned, like I'm okay with not being able to fulfill those or like make good on that commitment because the things that I am prioritizing, bro, are the things that I probably should be prioritizing, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? So. And it's gotten to a point where like my routine, I just had to change it. I had to rework it, man. And so like the past, I think since that race in November, like the gym's a lot easier to execute than going and running trails. And there's less variability. Like I'm not having a day where it's like my legs just aren't cooperating and I'm 4.5 miles out from the trailhead and got to get back. And like that shit just happens sometimes, man. And you don't intend to be out for,
So wait, like you lock up?
Dude, well, like you start getting fatigued, right? So you go through training blocks and like the typical, like, so I coach ultra running too. Like I ended up getting a certification because like I said, dude, it's never enough to just have the fucking hobby. Yeah. So like what you end up doing is you do these periodization blocks. It's like weightlifting. So you do 3 weeks of build and then you typically take like a deload week. So say you're at like it's Friday and I've got my like hour and a half easy run. Well, I've got, 30 something odd miles on my legs through the week and I did speed work the day before. So like I'm just not moving as efficiently as I typically do. I don't realize that sometimes until I'm 4.5 miles out and I've climbed like 1,200 feet worth of, terrain going up this mountain. And like, I got to get back now. And that's not happening as fast as it usually does. And so like, you've got 25 minutes of driving to the trailhead, get all your shit together. The run ends up taking longer. You hit traffic on the way back. Like it just kind of like there's mornings that it would snowball. And like with the gym, I've got so much more. It's controlled. It's a controlled environment.
15 minutes there, throw some motherfuckers around, 15 minutes back.
Head on back.
Yeah.
Like this morning, like what I've been doing typically lately, like we're kind of dipping our toes back into me training for running a little bit more because it's just like I don't know what is left for me out there in the ultra world, but like I'm not done. So it's been an ongoing conversation with Tay and I on like how do we manage this better? Like I don't need to train to compete. Like it's fine to just complete these races and like whatever ends up happening out there happens. Like it's the journey for me now is not to go out there and compete. I love to race. Don't get me wrong, dude. Like I like the mentality portion of it, and it's the same thing with wrestling, dude. It's like I'm gonna fucking break you. Yeah. And like who's gonna give up? Because like it's a little bit of a pain endurance contest, and like I like that shit, dude.
Pain and mental will, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I like testing myself like that. So I don't know, man. It's been constructing a new relationship with it. Like this morning, it was like 4:45. Wake up, go to the gym at 5, lift for an hour, get back, help get the kids ready. As soon as Tay went to drop everybody off, went and got my hour-long run in, and then.
So you did an hour of weightlifting and then an hour of running? Mm-hmm. Fuck. All of a sudden I feel very unproductive today, man. That's wild. So when you're running for an hour, you just street running?
Yeah. It's nice too, man. The community we live in Gilbert now, it's a perfect 1 mile loop. Oh, like dope. There's like a circle around the community in the community, obviously. And I just,
zip around it.
Put headphones on and just tune out, man. Like it's become like somewhat meditative.
That's dope. Yeah. I've heard about runner's highs.
Yeah,
bro. maybe someday, man. Maybe someday.
We do.
We do like the fucking Rocky where I just like fucking ride the bike next to you and cheer you on and
shit. Let's go. Let's do it one of these days.
Do that shit.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Is Tay into any of that shit?
She's on a fitness journey right now too, man. So
that's dope.
Yeah,
the companionship's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and it's cool, man. So she struggled postpartum with our second.
Yeah.
And so it's been really cool watching her, man, like going through her thing. Everybody's eating really clean right now. She's like going through her thing, got a couple of like programs that she's following and everything. And so it's nice now. And I think maybe there's even a little bit of more of we're able to kind of reconcile on like my obsession with the thing because she
sees the value in it.
Her fitness to kind of dive into and all of that now too. So,
bro, you remember Ryan Johnson? My wife and I worked out with Ryan Johnson for like 3 years, bro. It was like the biggest and strongest I felt. And actually, dude, which is fucking crazy, I ended up taking testosterone for a while. Like my T was down. Yeah. And so I like went and talked to a doc and all that shit. And I got, the little shot in the ass, which was like, I didn't notice a difference. Like it was cool, but like I didn't really notice the difference till I stopped fucking taking it. Then I was like, damn, bro, my testosterone's low as fuck.
You can feel it, man.
It's crazy, bro. Like the fatigue, the cloudiness. I was like, oh my God, this is some real ass shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking interesting. Anyways, my wife and I talk about that all the time. We're like, dude, like we kind of view that working out together, sharing a similar interest in something that's good for us and healthy for us as like one of the best times of our marriage, right? Like, and dude, we were up at 4:30 at the gym by 5, done by 6, back home. Like, dude, I'm up, shirt off, cooking steaks in the backyard, dude. Steak and eggs and shit. She's getting the girls ready. The neighbors are like, what the fuck are these crackheads doing, bro? I'm pretty sure the guy's out there without a shirt cooking T-bones again. I was, bro, all the time. But there's something about that too, right? Like where you feel so motivated and you feel like you're so accomplished, right? You're like, dude, I got all this shit done.
Yep.
And other people are still fucking snoozing, bro. Haven't even rose yet. You know what I mean?
And I love it, man. It's like, end of the day, like tonight, like coming and doing the podcast with you, had a full work day, got my workout in, my run in. Like, I'll put my head down tonight and be like,
done.
I'm out.
Yeah, off button.
Tank's fucking empty. Don't got to drink myself to sleep. Like, fucking, it's just what it's become now, man. And it's one of those things too where I know it sounds selfish, but I'm trying to set an example right now, because what my approach is with the religion thing and all of that, like, I'll introduce you to all of this, man. Like, any athletics that you want, any, train of thought that you want, like, maybe, they'll look back someday and be like, well, this is what dad does. So this is what I'm going to do. And like, we work hard and we output, and I'm not sitting on the fucking couch doing nothing. Like, even Coop, like, I'll take him out hiking and do stuff like that. Kid loves to run. Like, we'll go on family walks, and there's some mornings too where it's like, instead of running, I'll go to the gym, come back in the morning, go to drop off with Tay. We'll drop off Coop, and then we go on a walk with her and I and Silas. And like, dude, it's very rare we're able to just talk uninterrupted. And so like, those have become really, really sacred moments for us too, man. I think it's really, really important.
Yeah. It is. I've also realized too, like, as I'm getting older, that I inspire people with my actions, not with my words, right? And my kids are always watching, and so I'm pretty aware of that shit too, man. Like, you got to be cautious what your mannerisms are, because you could tell them, hey, eat healthy. If they just see you fucking down in Doritos all day long, they're gonna be like, all right,
fuck that.
Yeah, where the Doritos at? Pass the Cool Ranch, bro. Let's run that. So yeah, dude, it's interesting. And now finally, like, you get to be that version of yourself where you can make good on the things that you say, and you are that dude, and you're living that shit daily.
Yeah, it's good, man. And it's become an interesting thing. Like, you and I have been talking about, like, me starting my podcast and everything, and like, the sobriety journey and the endurance and all of this stuff. And it's like, there was a weird time where it's like, I felt like I had an obligation to keep it up. And I've kind of just started to lean into, like, this is what I fucking do, man. Like, I like feeling like a savage some days. Like, it feels good. Like, I feed off of it, man. And like, I like waking up and getting my shit done. And like, those were habits that I picked up back in wrestling all through high school and college. And I think the reason that I connected with the sobriety journey so much, dude, is when I had gotten sober, I'd look back and I'm like, what parts of myself did I lose during the periods where I was drinking really heavily? And that was like the number one thing that I'd kind of looked at, where it's like, man, I'm not living up to the potential that I know I have.
Yeah, that you're capable of, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
What scares you now? So if that back then, not being your badass self that you know you could fucking be, what is it now that scares you or terrifies you?
I've always been terrified of mediocrity. And I think it's growing up in a small town, and one of the only ways to get recognition there really was to accomplish things. Like, athletics were really celebrated, academics were celebrated. So there was a need, there was like an internal need that I feel like I developed to satisfy that through doing stuff and accomplishing things. And I think one of the things that just scares the shit out of me, man, is like getting to a certain age where I look back and I'm like, fuck, dude, I had so much more left in the tank.
Yeah. It's easy to get there.
Yeah.
You see it all the time, man. You look around, dude, you see it all the time. Or you see people who get it and lose it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Very few people I see are actively pursuing greatness. Mm-hmm. Most people are like, oh, this is life. My wife keeps me in check for that, bro. She's ambitious as fuck.
That's good.
She's incredibly driven, bro. Incredibly driven. To the point to where sometimes I'm like, dude, It's Saturday, bro.
Yeah.
Because she'll wake up, she's like, what do you got going on today? I'm like, I don't know, man. I was thinking coffee. She's like, we should go do this. We should go do that. We got to do this. Let's take the boys for a walk. Let's do this. I'm like, yo, hold the fuck up. I just woke up. I haven't even had coffee yet. I'm already stressed out, bro. Like, I feel like I'm already behind. Like, hold up, man. Like, let's, one at a time. Let's just cross them off, you know?
Yeah.
But she, bro, she's motivated. She's so driven. And it's funny because I don't know anybody else like her. She's courageous. You know what I'm saying? Where she's like, yo, let's gamble on this. Like, let's buy another property. Let's do this. Like, let's invest in that. She's like very, very forward thinking, which is crazy because without her, bro, like I would not be nearly to the mind state that I am now where maybe I am like more aware or more driven because, dude, she got like 5 401ks like going right now, you know? And I'm like,
Good shit.
I got like $150 or something somewhere around here.
Got a couple dollars.
Yeah, where's my wallet at, bro? But yeah, she's like, dude, like straight up like hustler mentality, which is really, really, really fucking cool because she motivates me.
And that's the other thing with the sobriety journey too, man, is like it was like switching industries too. Like that shit was scary too, man. And like, I know I got into it too late. I'm never gonna be like some crazy developer that's like,
Tech
working for Google or anything like that. Like I think I hit the wrong end of the autism spectrum to be able to fucking hammer out code like that, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's cool because what I've come to terms with is like, I'm accruing skill sets right now and networking with people because like, dude, I would love to launch a tech startup. Do something along those lines, and like that, like those are the aspirations now that it's like I know all of these people that have like tech startups. Phoenix is a huge hub for it right now. Like all that's going on. Like
there's all sorts of shit popping up right now, huh?
It's crazy, man. So like I think that's this next evolution, like post sobriety, man. Is like this. I don't know.
Start an empire.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. If you've got that passion and you've got that drive. And you got 2 young dudes to take over your legacy when you're ready to hand it off, man. Like, it makes sense, man. Obviously, people want to be around you. People want to follow you. You know what I mean? So it's an obvious choice for you. Like, whatever that is, you know, whether it's tech or fitness or whatever. Yeah. You'd be a dope-ass, like, gym and studio owner, too. You know what I mean?
That'd
like,
be
open
fun,
up
man.
A couple different spots and just have some spot where you pay the rent and people come through and kick some ass and throw motherfuckers around and you cast judgment on them. Right?
Yeah,
That'd be dope as shit, dude.
Yeah.
So as far as the sobriety journey, man, like when people are asking you, you said earlier people kind of ask you for guidance, like what type of direction do you give them? What type of feedback or guidance would you offer?
It depends on the state they're in when I get contacted.
Like if they're ready or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been contacted and like there's some like full-blown crisis mode. Like, let's jump on a phone call. Let's talk through this. Like, give them a little bit of guidance. Like, I just tell everybody, like, you got to wake up and start getting like a morning routine going and like win. Get a couple of small wins. Wake up, brush your teeth, wash your face, eat something healthy. Just make a list, start checking them off, like scratching through them.
Get the momentum. That's funny. I give that same advice too.
Dude, it's the only way to do it, man. Because like, God damn it, who is it? Michael, you know Michael Chernow, owner of Creatures of Habit. Like he did a podcast with Rich Roll, and I was like, damn, that's crazy, because like that was what his sponsor was like telling him to do. He was like, wake up, brush your teeth, make a bowl of oatmeal, and come to the Muay Thai gym. Like that was like the steps that this guy gave him to get sober, and it's like it is a good recipe, man. Like I think the morning more so than anything when you're struggling with like addiction and drinking. Learning a way to define your morning that's not nursing a hangover to make it productive is probably one of the best things that you can do.
It's dope because you start your day off with a bunch of victories.
Yes.
Right? And I think a lot of people set like very kind of like unrealistic time frames. I'm not going to drink for a month, you know? Like they go on a sobriety journey. They're like, dude, I'm done for at least a year. And they set these like unrealistic time frames. And so when they relapse or when they don't make it and they're unsuccessful, well, we become our own worst enemies, right? And we're like, oh, fuck, I'm such a loser. And then you end up like hitting it twice as hard and stuff. So for me too, I was like, yo, dude, like I'm just not going to drink until I drop my kids off at school. And then when I get home, I'm like, I'm not going to drink until after I shower. And then I'm like, all right, now I'm not going to drink until I got dressed.
Yep.
You know, and it's like, I just kept postponing it. And finally I was just like, all right, it's 4:30 at night. I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah.
You know, fucking boom, I got a day under my belt. So I don't know. the small victories that really led to the big win.
Yeah, and sometimes it's I think I was telling a friend of mine that had contacted me. This was like 2 weeks ago. I was like, some days it's a minute at a time. Some days it's an hour at a time. And then sometimes you get to a point where you're like, whoa, I couldn't even imagine doing the latter.
Yeah.
Going back to that. And so just stacking up all of that. And it's almost like Alex Hormozi's quote, where it's like, confidence isn't shouting affirmations at yourself in the mirror. It's a undeniable stack of proof that you are who the fuck you say you are. And like that translates over to sobriety too, man. Like if you can stack days up saying you're sober, then you're fucking sober.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's my credentials.
Yeah.
That's fucking dope. I'm happy for you, man.
Thanks.
What are you going to do for your sobriety birthday this year? You guys celebrate?
It's beautiful, man, because it's Christmas.
You know what's a fucking, yeah, I just put that
Best
together.
Christmas present ever, dude.
It really is. You know, it's a trip, dude. So like, it's a huge day for me. And I think somewhere deep inside, I always wanted somebody to tell me that like they were proud of me or that I did it right. You know what I mean? Chris Harden is the one that like hits me up all the time. He's like, yo,
way.
Oh yeah, dude. He's like, yo, happy birthday, bro. Like he never fucking forgets.
Whoa. When's the birthday?
December 4th.
Right.
Never fucking forgets, bro. Right? Like now it's all coming together after our last conversation. But I realized that my getting through each day is the applaud and the confirmation that I needed. Yeah. Like what people don't realize, bro, is that there's nobody at the finish line who's been cheering you on saying, finally you made it, right? Like it's very independent. It's very lonely.
It's isolating.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's there is no finish line.
That's the fucking kicker, ain't it?
Yeah.
Are you gonna come back and do the Father's Day?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. I got a couple people lined up, man. We're getting the wrap up over here, bro. Anything before we dip out?
No, that's it, man.
Sweet. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming back again, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me,
That's
dude.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Love the conversation. We're going to be doing a Father's Day episode for all you dope dads out there. We'll have that guy airing next month. Until then, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, tell a mom, tell a dad, tell a friend, tell a kid. Till next time, stay dope. Thank you for joining us on the Dope Dad Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to share it with a friend. You can support the show by giving a like, sharing, and subscribing, and you can find us on YouTube or wherever you're getting your podcast fix. If there's content you'd like to hear more of, please leave a comment. We'll make sure we try to get it in the show. Continue to tune in for more dope guests and real conversation.